Hello, and welcome back to the Women's Rugby Show with me, Sam. By the way, we're back again for episode 11 of the podcast. And this week, we're having a little bit of a look at the last round of the PWR, round 7, having a look forward to round 8 of the PWR, talking to players from Saracens and Loughborough Lightning, and also looking back at round 2 of the Celtic Challenge, talking to someone from Glasgow Warriors women, and having a quick look at round 3 of that tournament as well. Before we get into this video, if you're listening to this over on YouTube or the clip on Instagram, make sure you head over to Spotify or Apple Podcasts to download this podcast to listen to us on the go. And if you listen to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure you head over to Instagram, check us out on all other social medias at the Women's Rugby Show. See all the other content we bring, team sheets, interviews from post matches, other graphics as well during the week. Plenty of more content over there. Have we done all that? Let's get into this episode. Last week in the PWR kind of went as you would expect heading into the weekend. Gloucester Hartpury got the win over Loughborough 42-24 in a really good game. Actually, we were there at the Hartpury University Stadium, a really good game. Loughborough were really into that in that game. They were very impressive, and we'll talk to Sadia Kabeya a little bit about that in a couple of minutes. But they were really impressive, kind of pushing Gloucester all the way, but Gloucester was way too strong. Saracens' comfortable win is away at Sale Shark. We'll be talking to Alex Austerberry and McKinley Hunt in a minute as well. Sale struggling at home to arguably one of the best two teams in the league. Leicester Tigers still pushing for that first PWR win. They ran Harlequins close, losing 33-24 at Welford Road. And finally, in the live TNT game, Exeter Chiefs won 38-19 over the Trailfinders in that game. That was kind of marred beforehand of the news coming out about Chiefs facing a possible points deduction due to EQP player regulations. Just kind of looking at the top four after the last round as well. Saracens sit top, perfect record, 6 games, 6 wins, 6 bonus points. Exeter Chiefs in second, having played 6, won 5, lost 1 against Gloucester Hartpury, who sit in third, having played 5 game less than any of the other teams around them on 24 points. And there's kind of a bit of a drop off from them. The top 3 in danger of running away slightly, with Brittle Bear sitting in fourth on 15 points, having played 6 games. Just also kind of top try scorer wise, Marley Packer leading the way in that with 8 tries. Saracens Sophie de Geardy, Marley Packer's teammate, is the top point scorer with 64 points. And kind of Saracens dominate the top bit, the top try scorer ranks as well. Sophie de Geardy, Paige Farries, both tied second with Exeter's Claudie McDonald on 6. And just to look ahead of this weekend before we talk to Alex Austerberry, McKinley Hunt and Sadia Kabeya. Games this weekend, all on Saturday actually. Leicester Tigers host Bristol Bears women at 1 p.m. Harlequins women host Loughborough Lightning women at 2. At 2:30 the game we are going to. Saracens women take on Exeter Chiefs women, a massive game, that possibly one of the biggest games of the season, as Alex and McKinley are about to tell you. And finally, Trailfinders women hosting Gloucester Hartpury women at 4:45 in the last game of the weekend there. So like I said, we're about to hear from Alex Austerberry, the Saracens head coach, McKinley Hunt, their Canadian front row, and also Loughborough Lightning and Red Roses flanker, Sadia Kabeya. Hi, McKinley, I hope you're all well. Just last time we kind of saw you in the PWR before you were in a Saracens shirt, you were playing in the second row. Now you're obviously at prop. Just kind of, can you just talk through how that move kind of came about and just how much you enjoy the transition?
Yeah, it's definitely been a challenging but fun transition. Something that was definitely in the works probably since like my age grade time with Canada. The conversation was always that I probably would move to the front row. And then we kind of got to a point before the last World Cup where we just solidified that it would be a move that was made after New Zealand. So officially made the move in July of this past year. And yeah, it's definitely been a learning curve, but really enjoying the opportunity that it's bringing me.
How many of kind of the Saracens squad or people in that Canadian international cap front row wise helping you out with the move?
Sorry, you kind of
Sorry, kind of what kind of figures within both Saracens and the Canadian setup are helping you out with that move in terms of helping you out with positioning in scrums and etc.
Yeah, I've definitely relied like pretty heavily on our Canada Forwards coach. really strong shout out for Duncan McNaughton. He's been absolutely amazing in my transition. He's now moved on from our team and retired from the coaching gig, but he was instrumental in just the confidence behind that. And then I've really appreciated the insight of Kelsey and Donna here at Saracens, just because they have so much experience, and obviously I've played against them. So now it's kind of fun to kind of go back and look at all the little tricks that both of us were doing at different times. But they've just been like a great resource and shoulder to lean on.
And obviously, you scored your first try for Saracens at the weekend against Sale. Just how special is that kind of kicking off your Saracens career with a try?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I wasn't really expecting it, to be honest, and I still am kind of shocked that it happened because it's just kind of a bit of a blur, but super excited and just happy to contribute to the team in any way that I possibly can.
And plenty of your Canadian teammates kind of at Saracens, obviously Paige, Sophie DeGurdy, just how much does that kind of make your job easier and make your transition easier moving to a new club when you've got so many teammates already there?
Yeah, it's definitely helpful, considering, I know them so well. And I've, Sophie, for example, I've played with her since I was 19 years old. So just to be able to know like what they're going to do on the field and the familiarity of their actions is really helpful. And just helps, bring our culture together because so many of us know each other.
Hi Alex. Just a couple of quick ones from me. I think I've asked you something similar before the Bristol game earlier in the season about getting the players up for it, but are these the kind of games where it's just a lot easier for you to motivate the players heading into? Obviously, you faced them in the semi-final last year. Is it kind of one of those easier challenges for you as a coach?
Yeah, I think I've got a problem if it's me that has to do the soul beating and the drum and motivating. I think you speak to any coaches across the league, the players are pretty good at motivating themselves and getting up for these. Obviously, as I alluded to, there's a little bit of history between the two clubs. There's been some significant big games, whether it be semi-finals, whether it be finals over the last few years. So that brings a rivalry, and it brings an increased intensity or certainly an increased focus from the outside, particularly. So that does it does sometimes change it. But again, for me, it's if I'm working with a group of players that need me to really get them going, then I've probably not built the right environment. I've probably not got the right players in the room. So for me, it's almost the group's really excited about the challenge of not just this game, but of the season. And it's making sure that we harness that in the right way. We make sure we maximize that energy and we channel the emotion so that we can perform at our best. And that's probably where my role comes in, rather than it being, getting them up for any fixture. It's making sure we harness the energy around it. And like I said, this game, last week's game away at Sale, they're all exciting games. They're all big challenges, and the players are really embracing them. And this weekend at home, that gives us a little bit of an added edge. Everyone loves playing at home in front of our really loud fans, that wall of noise when you come out the tunnel. So that's part of it, and that probably gives it that little bit more excitement playing in the home fixture. Yeah.
And obviously, Gloucester the week after as well. Just two kind of big games back to back. How much importance is there on kind of making sure that squad is managed well in minutes as well, instead of just the same 23, same 15 playing so many minutes of rugby?
Yeah, it's not just about managing the 23. We've got a squad for a reason. Everyone in here has got a part to play, and it's sometimes it's choosing the right balance, the right players for the teams with their threats or where we think we can create opportunity. So if you were to play the same team week in, week out, you probably not only just get fatigue, injury, but you're going to struggle to make those subtleties and the nuances of change that you need. And then the season is long. So if you play with the same 15, 23 every week, you come hopefully the business end of the season, knockout rugby, which we're hoping to be in, then you might have a squad that's relatively undercooked. Whereas you've got to create opportunities. You've got to make sure that when you're talking about competition in training and everyone's got a shot at earning that opportunity to play, then it's got to be real. Because otherwise, if you start giving false information to players, then you start to lose what makes your group special. So as I say, everyone in this group has got a part to play, and people train well, that's rewarded, and then that gives us going into big games, going into every game, we've got selection dilemmas. And although it gives me a headache, it's certainly one that I'd rather have, rather than kind of thinking, well, this is the only option I've got. Where having multiple options is fantastic, and it gives us gives the opportunity to create different pictures, show something different to Exeter, something different for Gloucester, something different for Sale, Ealing, whoever it is that we're playing. Because again, teams are very good; they analyze you. So if you keep doing the same thing, at some point they'll find a way to undo you. So we've got to keep evolving, and the best way to keep evolving is changing your pictures, changing your setups, and giving players opportunity to shine.
And you kind of touched on just then with that squad, but also speaking about Zoe earlier, obviously Beth Blacklock played at 10 against Sale, and you've had Amelia playing there as well. What do you kind of see as their different styles of playing, different options for you as a fly half?
Well, they're all very versatile. They've all got, I hate the term triple threat, but they've all got the ability to take people on. They've got the ability to bring others in space. And that kick game, we saw Beth kick very well at the weekend. That was the kind of some of the right options for the conditions on Saturday. Amelia, a little bit more jinky towards the line, so they've all got their strengths. And I think the exciting thing is that they've all got exciting futures ahead of them. So in terms of this weekend, we've got to kind of work on what we've seen of the other teams, of what we've seen internally in the games, and put the right balance on the field. But it's a luxury to have Amelia, to have Beth, and to have Zoe waiting in the wings. And Flo Williams as well. We've got real depth there, and that gives us the ability to show different pictures and play different ways. So that's it's. In one way, it's incredibly exciting. Another bit, it gives you a headache. But I'd rather have the headache than not have the options there. And I think the one thing that you can't underestimate is that how that drives competition. It makes people better. I'll take a sprinkling of your game, and I'll take a bit of there to make my individual game better. And I think that's really, really beneficial for all of them, not just the youngster in terms of Amelia.
Sorry, I think it's done now. Just to jump in. Obviously against Gloucester, you kind of kick-started that game really well, scoring really early, and then kind of came right back into it, getting the bonus point near the end. Just how proud of you with kind of the heart and drive shown by the girls throughout that game?
Oh yeah, so proud. I mean, we came with the aim to start really, really well. We know Gloucester are usually a team who start really well and close out a game, kind of holding on to the score that they've got in the first half. So that was our aim, and to come away with that was something we were really proud of. And obviously Gloucester, a really well-drilled team, they able to capitalize off small mistakes, and that's a lot of how they got their tries in that second half. But you have to come back and get that bonus point, against a top four, probably top 1 and 2 team. It's something, as a Loughborough team, I'm really, really proud of.
And you mentioned kind of the improvement in the last 3 games, and 2 of them having been last year's finalists, kind of back to back. Do you think that's kind of your toughest part of the season over with, and you kind of push on from here, and you must be kind of happy with how those 2 have gone, really?
I mean, I think we kind of go into every game with the same mindset. I think a lot of it for Loughborough right now is we're trying to, earn our own respect back within ourselves, within our team, and also the respect of the league. To have put our performances, put our positives against, 1 and 2 from last year, Exeter and Gloucester, is something we're really proud of and taking a lot of positives from. Obviously, there's still a lot of tough games to come. We've got Ealing, Quins, which will be really pivotal for us, and then come round again playing top 4 again. But definitely a tough chunk of our season, done, which we're really happy with the way that we got through that, I think.
And you think it just kind of shows how much the league's come on, that there aren't really any easy games, there aren't really any easy blocks. Like you said, you have just played last year's top 2, but now you're playing Quins, who are getting their form back, Ealing, who have been strong throughout the year.
Yeah, definitely, and it's great. It's great for the league. It's great to see. It's great for fans that you can never really call who's going to win, because there are some teams who will come from be underdogs and come and beat teams in the top 4. Obviously, starting out, Bristol beating Sale beating Quins was a surprise to the league, but we have to expect the unexpected in this league, and I think it's so exciting, and I think it makes training for teams even more exciting and gets the best out of players, because there's never a week where you can kind of take the foot off the gas or rest. So I think it's great in all aspects.
And just to quickly go back to what Martin was talking about your kind of off-field work in the media. Obviously, you have that. You have a lot of focus on your university kind of career and academic career. Just how important is kind of making sure there is something set for life after rugby as well.
Yeah, no, I think it's so important, especially with rugby, but any sport, you're never guaranteed, a long career. Obviously, that's what everyone always wants, and touch wood, that's what I'll be able to do for a long time. But yeah, I think it's always great having that backup option. It's also, I think, for me, having that bit of distraction. Although when I am in uni, when I am doing my exams, it's stressful. It's something else to think about. But being able to, come away from a week of rugby and, go on the weekend, do a bit of uni work here, takes my mind off, not just being rugby focused all the time. And yeah, having that backup degree or backup option, if I do end up, actually retiring early or pulling out of love of rugby, touch wood, not going to happen, or just leading a different career path, having something where I'm not going to be stressed about, what I'm doing next. I think it's important for, all rugby players, really.
And obviously, there's quite a lot of that lightning side, also in the same position, studying at the uni. Just is it kind of nice to have some people who are in that same boat? So if you're struggling, kind of, I'm not sure what I'm doing here, need a bit of inspiration, need a bit of advice, that you have a lot of people to go to in the same boat.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, Loughborough being based at the uni, we have a lot of uni girls there. So I think it's more so of a comfort thing. It's nice to come in after like a long day or a couple lectures or wherever you've been. I've been lectures too. It's like, oh, okay. Like someone else been doing the same thing as me. It's not kind of an anomaly. You don't feel kind of weird in the squad when you've been doing lectures all day. And actually for me, there's actually no one else on my course, but I think there's a lot of different courses throughout the team. But I think yeah, it's more so of like a comfort thing, and to know like there's a lot of people in the same boat as you here.
Perfect. Cheers, Sadia. Thank you. Moving on now to the Celtic Challenge. And if you've been following us on Twitter, you will have seen how much we have loved this competition so far. We were at Cardiff Arms Park. Well, we've actually been at both of the first two rounds. This competition, first of all, we saw Rhythm Thunder host Gwalia Lightning, the two Welsh teams at Rodney Parade in Newport, with Gwalia winning that one. And last weekend, we were at Cardiff Arms Park to see Gwalia beat Glasgow Warriors. Brilliant game, 36-19. Just before we go into the tournament as a whole, just run through the other results from last weekend. Edinburgh lost at home to the Wolfhounds 27-17, and the Clovers won at home to Brython Thunder 25. Table sits, Gwalia in first, Wolfhounds in second, Clovers in third, Edinburgh in fourth, Brython in fifth, and Glasgow in sixth. But to talk through competition, we love it. I think especially that Gwalia team is so good to watch. It's just really exciting to see the way they are playing such free-flowing, running, confident rugby. And I think if that can spread to the rest of the competition, if that can spread to these three teams come Six Nations time, we're going to have such a good Six Nations tournament. And it's going to be so fun to watch. And some of these players coming through, like so Gwen and Hopkins, Sean Jones, Cara Hughes, unfortunately went up injured, but she was so good as well. Bryony King, Kath Richards is looking very good. And then even you look at Brython, Seren Singleton looked brilliant. Alex Callender's back on form, back playing rugby. It's just so exciting to see these players getting the game time and opportunity that they actually deserve, because these players don't have it if they're not playing PWR rugby. They don't have the stepping stone to international rugby. Obviously, Wales have now brought back that pathway, but haven't had this club stepping stone playing other teams in club rugby. Obviously, they play at Prem level in Scotland or AIL in Ireland, or they play Bucks rugby, but they haven't had this top level competition, which is streamed, which you can go watch, which is just so important for these players going forward, and it's just so good to see. And I really hope it continues going forward throughout this tournament and coming years too, and just pushes these teams to be so much better heading forward. We're actually at the game on Sunday at Parky Scarlets and Llanelli, with Brython Thunder taking on Edinburgh. But we're really excited how this tournament's going. And just one last thing from us before we talk to Lucy Winter from Glasgow Warriors. If you are Yoan Cunningham and listening to this, please cap Gwen and Hopkins in the Six Nations. She will be brilliant. Let's talk to Lucy. So Lucy, just first of all, thanks so much for chatting to us today. Just kind of looking back to the game against Gwalia first, just they looked like quite a tough side to face. Just how was it out there?
Yeah, it's always tricky playing against Welsh opposition. Obviously, we've got the travel as well. I think our defence stuck out for quite a lot of the game. We just need to keep hold of the ball so we do less defending. But yeah, I was saying before, like, I'm really proud of how the girls have taken on the information from the coaches, and we're transferring that into every game. You can see it growing. So it was pretty positive looking back on the game despite the score. So we're just looking forward to the next one now.
You kind of touched on it a little bit there about kind of the work on heading into it. But I think I was at the game at Cardiff and you seem to be, when you had the chances to attack, you pretty much scored from all those chances. Just is that kind of the work on for this weekend, is getting those more opportunities?
Yeah, absolutely. We even saw that in the Edinburgh game. I think we had 6 entries to 22 and got 2 scores off them. So our conversion rate is really high. We just need to get into the right areas of the pitch. That's definitely one of the work ons going into the weekend. Just keep hold of the ball in attack, see what we can do.
And just how kind of proud were you of the desire to keep pushing in those last kind of 10, 15 minutes, getting those 2 late tries as well?
Yeah, I think that's a huge testament to kind of the attitude and spirit of the girls in the group. For the bench to come on, both games have made a huge impact. Got some extremely talented players coming on to give us a boost. So I think that's testament to them coming on and getting into the game seamlessly and making that impact there.
And now kind of heading into this weekend, your first proper home game against, can't remember which one of the Irish sides it is, but kind of against one of the Irish sides. Just how excited are you to kickstart the competition at home and be playing in front of a home crowd in Glasgow?
Yeah, it's hugely exciting. I think the first game, a lot of us played and trained at the Hive, and then a first proper away experience last weekend was tough. So it's good to bring everything together and have our opportunity at home in front of a home crowd. The club have put in a huge effort to get the men's game shown beforehand for the fans, and then they'll come out to watch our game. So yeah, hopefully we can put on a good show for them and all the people that are coming to watch.
Wolfhounds is a team. I just remembered it now.
Wolfhounds,
Just
yeah.
how much have you kind of seen of them and seen of the 2 Irish sides so far in the competition?
I mean, this competition is exciting because all the opposition are so fresh. We've not seen an awful lot of them. Obviously, they've played their 2 games. Most recent one against Edinburgh, which I thought was a good contest. They've got a lot of good athletes and really talented rugby players in their side. So it will be a tough outing for us. Obviously, we've only played 2 games, but they've shown to be one of the strongest in the competition. So it's a great challenge for us at home, and we're really looking forward to it.
And if you kind of look at those Irish sides, they're very much their full national team. I think most of their national players are playing within those sides. Just how much of a test is that when you are playing against essentially what is going to make up most of their Six Nations side?
Yeah, it's huge. I think for some of the younger girls in the group, it's great to kind of have that benchmark to work against and kind of see how much they can push themselves there. It's definitely obviously a step up from club rugby for a lot of people. So yeah, it's good to get that benchmark, I would say.
And just finally for me, just how important have you found this competition so far for your kind of development, but not even just your development, but kind of Scottish rugby's development going forward? Obviously, we had the success of WXV too for the Scottish national team, but just how important is this going to be going forward?
Yeah, it's huge. It kind of is giving us all a spark as a group of players. Like, we've come out of the club season, and it's given us another way to push on. The level of detail, the margin for error is a lot smaller. It's given us a challenge as players to see if we can push ourselves at the next level. And obviously, we saw last year with the Celtic Challenge, players putting their hands up for national selection. So everyone's going to get something different out of it, whether it's to take back to their clubs or move into the national setup. So yeah, we're just relishing the opportunity at the moment.
Perfect. That's all from me. Thank you.